And we're back right where we left off. We have so far sketched our ellipse. But to completely finish, we need to list off to the side the center, which is 0, 0. The vertices, which are actual coordinates, right? So what is the coordinate to the vertice? I'm going to tap them in lime green. There's vertice number 1. And there's vertice number 2. So what are those coordinates? That's the point 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's the point 0, 3, and the point 0, 1, 2, negative 3. Okay, you can write it like that and actually show them as two different points. Or you could do this and say that the two vertices are at 0 plus or minus 3. That still shows me that they're at 2 points. Okay, just for the sake of being cool, we'll do that. And then lastly, the foci. That's the two blue points. So it's at 0 and what was that? What was that point again? How far away was that from this? Oh yeah, square root of 5. So that's the point 0 comma root 5. And this point down here is 0 comma negative root 5. So we could write that as two different points, or we could just say plus or minus root 5. So we have our one center point, our two vertices, and our two foci. And we've solved it. What if I asked you, what is the length of the major axis? This is me just going into teacher mode. What is the length of the major axis? Well, I'll do that in blue. Oh, highlighter yellow. That is the major axis right there. It's from vertice to vertice. So what is the length? 3 up top, 3 on bottom. That would be a length of 6. What about the length of the minor axis? That would be this direction, which would be 4. Okay, so there's a lot of different questions that you might see. You might have to work backwards. I might give you the length of the major axis and then tell you to find A. Remember, A is just half of the major axis. So for now, while you're doing these examples and while you're doing your homework, I think it'd be nice to have kind of this notes page near you, right? A lot of the facts are right there. This formula comes in handy. These two that I gave you come in handy. This formula up here, standard formula of ellipse, comes in handy. So keep your notes ready. I'm going to do one more example where we kind of walk through it. And then there's actually a video that Miss Gregerson made a couple years ago that covers example 3 and 4. So it'll give you a little different voice, different look to do two of these harder problems here. Okay. Let's do example 2. Find the center, vertices, foci, and give us a sketch. Okay, well, we need to divide everything by 25 again. So divide by 25, divide by 25, divide by 25. So our new formula is x minus 3 squared over, what's 5 divided by 25? That's going to be 1/5. And then 25 divided by 25, it's going to be 1. And then 25 divided by 25 is 1. So there's our new formula, right? Hold on. Sorry, my keyboard was in the way. So we need to find the center. The center is h, which is a 3, comma k, which is a negative 2. So there's my center, 3, negative 2. Then we need to find A and B and C. Remember, A is the bigger of the two. And A is not 5. That's A squared. A is the square root of this number. So A is root 5. Okay? B is the square root of the smaller of the two. So B is the square root of 1, which is 1. And C, if you remember correctly, C squared is equal to A squared, which is 5, minus B squared, which is 1. So C squared equals 4, so C equals 2. So we now have our center, our A, our B, our C. We're ready. We're ready to sketch. So where's the center? 3, negative 2. 3, negative 2. There's my center. is this going to be a tall, skinny ellipse or a kind of wide ellipse? Well, since A is underneath the X term, it's going to be going horizontally. So we're going to go root 5 to the right and left, which we talked about root 5. It's a little more than 2. So we're going to go a little more, 1, 2, and a little more. We'll go a little more than 2 that direction, a little more than 2 this direction. There's my major axis. And then B is 1, so that's our minor axis, so we go up 1 and down 1. So look at this one. This one's kind of small. Little narrow eye. It kind of looks like an eyeball. Okay? Or Hey Arnold's head, whichever one you want. Foci are 2 away. Remember, the foci are related to your C value, and so the foci are 2 away from the center. So 1, 2, so right there, almost up to the end, almost up to the end. So that's tough to draw, but those blue dots are my focuses, my foci. And that's our sketch. So all we got to do is list out our points like we did on the last one, and then I'll wrap this video up about half as long as the other one. So our center, we got that, check. Our vertices, we'll call that V. Vertices are on the ends, remember? It's the ends of the major axis. But wait a minute. How are we going to write the vertices? That's tough, because this is the point 3, -2. But we're moving to the left by root 5, and we're moving to the right by root 5. So if that middle point right there is the point +3, 2, then wouldn't this point over here be +3, whatever 3 is, plus root 5, comma 2? We had to add root 5 to get to, I didn't mean to connect it to the blue dot. We added root 5 to get to there, so 3 plus root 5, and then 3 minus root 5. So our 2 vertices are 3 plus root 5, comma 2, and 3 minus root 5, comma 2 to get that one over there. So that might take a pause and a little rewind on the video, because since we don't know, I mean, you could do that math, I guess, on your calculator, but I want it like this instead. I don't want you to actually do the math, 3 plus root 5. I want you to leave it as 3 plus or minus root 5, comma 2. That accounts for both of your vertices, right? And in the foci, that's going to be easier because the foci, I'll use blue, was just 1, 2 away from the center. So it's going to be 3 minus 2, comma 2, and 3 plus 2, comma 2. So 3 minus 2, comma 2, and that, since it's not a square root, we can just solve that. So 1, comma 2, and -2, sorry, these are negative on the y-axis, might be -2, -2, and then what's 3 plus 2? 5, comma -2. Don't believe me, let's check real quick. Where's the point 1, -2? Put your pencil on it. Over 1 and down 2, it would be right there on that focal point. And then 5, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 2, would be right there on that focal point. So we got our foci, we got our vertices, and we got our center. And we officially have graphed this ellipse and found its key features. So, in summary, I know this is a lot of info. This is one of my favorite shirts, by the way. Why he do that boy like that? It's a guy who watches NBA games, and just whenever somebody crosses somebody up, he just goes wild, and he's hilarious. So let's summarize what you should do, your plan of attack. You need to be able to recognize when it's an ellipse. So what I want you to notice is this. It's still a plus sign. Okay, it's still a plus sign. It's equal to 1. It's equal to 1. There's going to be divided. It's going to have kind of fractions underneath to be your major and your minor axis. So then really the last piece, and this is going to happen in Miss Gregerson's video, you better watch it, I'm telling you, because look, it does the first one where it's in this form. And we're going to practice more, but it's very similar to circles. You're going to move this 211 over to the right. Then you're going to group, I would group your x terms together, 25x squared minus 200x, group that together. And then your 9y squared plus 36y, group that together, equals negative 211. So that when you do your completing the square, there's your x's, there's your y's. And then Mama G is going to show you how to take care of these numbers in the front, the 25 and the 9. But I strongly encourage you to watch that video. And at that point, you've seen all the material for ellipses, but it takes practice. You've got to practice without using the book and without looking at the answer key. You cannot just keep going to the answer key the minute you get stuck. You need to go back and try to troubleshoot, okay? Because the more comfortable that you get with these terms, like right now, you reading this out loud to a partner would seem so foreign. You wouldn't know what half these words really meant, but you got to get comfortable with them. So literally, this is a 90-minute block period. I'm begging you, read through these. Take your time. You are not in a rush. If you skipped over the Desmos activity, I'm telling you that is a great way to get comfortable with ellipses. I love the math website, Math is Fun. So literally, you type in Math is Fun ellipse, and there's some good pictures and graphics, and you can teach yourself about ellipses. And then there's even some questions at the bottom that you could solve. And last but not least, good old Khan Academy Ellipse. And if you didn't like our video enough, look at that, Intro to Ellipses, Conic sections, and then right below it, the practice popped up. Okay, I'm telling you, there's plenty of resources out there, but you've got to put in that work. Okay, put in that work today. Put in your headphones. Grab a chair next to a partner who's going to take it serious and not just gossip with you about their crush, and get after it. I love you guys, and I hope you feel all right about this. As you're going through, star some questions for me, and I'll be there to support next week, but we're going to move on, so try your best to get this. Have a great day.